Thank you for watching the State of Security. I'm Summer and this is Ken. PCI is a regulation that we deal with often. And right now the issue with the PCI Council is enforcement. People don't know what the enforcements are with non-compliance. So to help clear that up, what are the issues? What are the fines? Do they get fined? Do they lose business? How does it work?
Well, PCI is a privatized reg. So unfortunately there are no federal backings to the actual PCI requirements. So what that means is you can't have inconsistencies between how the PCI standard is rolled out, the ramifications, non-compliance, and the fines associated with it. In addition to, the PCI Council doesn't necessarily report or send out what the fines are for companies, nor do they issue reports on what the breaches were and how the breaches occurred. So a lot of that stuff is kept under covers for a variety of reasons. The concern that we have is for companies that are non-compliant, it's really the merchant bank who has a lot to influence with how the fines will flow down and how non-compliance is handled.
Right. Well, the problem with that for a lot of businesses is they don't know when it's going to hit, and then when it does, they end up paying, a crazy amount for services to get compliant.
Right.
So how do you fix that?
Well, I don't know how you fix that. I think one of the things that we've seen is we've had two companies in the same industry, two different merchant banks, one that had to be fully compliant by year end and the other one that hadn't even been given a letter to be compliant. Same level, same everything. So it's really the inconsistency that I think the PCI Council and PCI standards are going to have to deal with. The only thing I can tell you is, you never look at your neighbor to see what they're doing. You always got to kind of look at what you're going to do and how you're going to comply to the regulatory requirements. Because at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to be holding them, not your neighbor.
Right. Well, another regulation we see a lot is SOX, Sarbanes-Oxley. There's a possible exemption for small companies, but people are worried that that will backfire. Do you think that it'll be a problem?
Well, I don't know. I mean, SOX, generally 75 million and above, you have to comply to the SEC filings and whatnot. I think if they go lower than 75 million, I think it's going to hamper the small businesses and the growth that, I think Barack wanted to stimulate the economy.
Right.
This clearly is going to cost companies more money to comply, which will stimulate the accounting firms, but that might be about it. And in addition to, some of the things that we've seen along the way is small businesses he needs to take care of, the cyber czar. I mean, have you heard anything with the cyber czar initiative?
No, not at all. Actually, an article just came out about how there's absolutely nothing being done. How when he first started, it was a first priority, and now all of a sudden, for some reason, he has a temporary person in there. He's not doing anything about it. I actually searched on Monster, Google USA jobs. There's no job posting for the cyber czar.
We're looking for a cyber czar, but we haven't posted it for it. So clearly, I guess osmosisly, we're going to find this person. So I mean, if Barack's got the way to recruit people, I'd like to see it, because clearly we're not recruiting for that position.
Right. It doesn't seem to be an initiative that he's taking seriously.
Great. Cool.
Yeah. So moving on, with NASA, 2 sites have been hacked.
Right.
We've talked about NASA before and how NASA is so large. So was it surprising to you that NASA sites got hacked?
No, it wasn't surprising. I mean, what was surprising was the fact that one of the hackers came out and said that he made SQL injection, which, you don't make it, you find it. It's already been made by some other developer. So this is 2 sites out of 14 centers across the United States with hundreds of thousands of sites. So I'm not too concerned about this. I thought it was interesting. It actually made the papers as much as it did.
Right. All right. Well, one last thing: email security services. Obviously, people are taking that more and more seriously. What are some tips that you would give clients to which services would you use and not use, and how would you use them?
Yeah, there was a white paper written. I think we were talking about that a bit. And trying to protect your email. There's a variety of different mechanisms out there. I mean, the most important thing is don't use email to send out PHI, PCI, anything that's financially related for GLBA. And then you won't have a problem with your email security. I think a lot of companies that are trying to use email as a secure mechanism to communicate, they're doing certificates between 2 hosts, they're doing encryption, they're doing a lot of different things, but at the end of the day, if I send you credit card information over email, and that goes to your BlackBerry, you got an issue. And that's what we're starting to see, is the fact that it's not self-contained anymore with mobile devices. Email is being promulgated out, and even if you do have good security standards on the email server, when it gets to the mobile devices and whatnot, you're losing that security.
Right. So it's not so much the security that you're using, it's how you use it.
That's right.
Great. All right. Well, thank you, Ken, and thank you guys for watching.